In this last video, we're going to block in all the remaining pieces. So we're going to make this screw. If we look at the additional reference down here, as far as the side view, we'll see there's a square kind of nut on the end. And then if we look at the top view, you're going to see there's these little threaded kind of screws with some hex nuts on the top. So let's go ahead and make the top ones first. And for this, we're just going to create cylinders again. And since we're going to do a lot of adjustments to these later on, I'm actually not going to delete the poles, but it's something we're going to do later on. So I'm just going to scale in evenly to about where that screw would be, and then we just want to make sure it's sticking up out of here a little bit. I'm going to Control D to duplicate, move that to meet right here. Alright, and then I'm going to create polygon primitives, and let's create another cylinder. And this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. So let's give this 6 sides. Go to our top view, and let's move this into place. Scale it down, rotate it. There's not a ton to the primary shapes right here, so these are going to go pretty quick. Scale it down, so I hit R, and you should be getting used to kind of these tools on your own. And then let's just match it so it's sitting through that cylinder right there. So we may have to take this and scale up this cylinder a bit. So something like that. Let's duplicate this, Control D. Let's bring it over. So I'm going to freeze transforms just so I get my pivot point back to where I can drag this right across. And then this guy we're going to have to scale up to and move. Alright, so that finishes those two off. Let's go ahead and name them real quick. And this is something we'll probably group later on, but for right now we don't have to group it because we'll probably remodel these potentially from scratch. So this is going to be my right top bolt underscore geo, left, and let's do an L, top bolt geo. You remember from the first lecture we want to try to keep our naming convention short and sweet. So let's do that R, and it kind of equals what we have over here. And to make this the same, let's do underscore R. So notice I was having some inconsistencies, and I'm going back and changing that. So this is my top nut R geo, top nut L geo. Alright, and now we just need to make that screw on the back. First, let's grab all of these and edit, delete all by type, history, and modify freeze transforms. So you can see that zeroes everything out. And we'll just double check them. And we're going to do this exact same thing before turn-in, but it's good to make sure that we do this as we go as well. So on the back, we're just going to need to make a screw. It's going to be easiest to do this from the top view. So let's zoom out, create polygon primitive cylinder. Let's move this back. Let's rotate it 90 degrees. Let's scale it down till it's about the width of this, and then we can scale from this handle and keep moving it, or you can use one of the snapping methods that I've shown before. But we want to make sure it's about the size of that screw. Okay. And this is going to be a placement piece as well. let's hit 4 here. Move that to the center. And let's grab these faces on the end. So I'm going to paint selection those. If you hold down B and middle mouse, we can bring that brush size down. And I usually like my brush to be half the size of the polygons I'm trying to select. Shift right click, let's extrude face. And let's go ahead and bring those out. Hit W. And if we select all these faces, actually we don't want the ends, so let's just marquee select through those, so we're not doing the ends. Let's extrude, extrude face, and then if we pull out here, let's go in here. So this is how we're going to be able to kind of get the right width. You could also hit R and then scale from the center, and that should get those the way we want. I should have grabbed from the center, so I'm just going to scale in here a bit to even that out, and we'll end up kind of remaking this. I just wanted a kind of primary shape to block that in. And let's go ahead and go through the same steps. I want to name this bracket underscore screw or bolt. Let's do bolt underscore geo. Delete all by type. History. Modify freeze transforms. And let's create a polygon primitive cube. Go to my top view, and let's just move this guy into place. And this is my last piece for primary forms. Just going to move this back here, scale it, and again, we're not going to do too much to it, just because we're going to end up editing this later on. So I'm going to hit F to frame on that piece, and we can kind of bring it up just so it fits in the center of that bolt. So let's name it bracket underscore nut underscore geo, and edit, delete all by type history, modify freeze transforms. Alright, so the primary forms of our coil is done, and you'd want to make sure you get to this point before you move on to the next lecture's materials, and we go into the secondary forms. Let's save it. Shift Command S, turn it to a Maya ASCII, hit the right arrow, call it 007, and hit enter.